Morning, shed top, keep evolving. Excuse my strip across my nose, that's so I can breathe a little bit better. I'm going out for a run in about 45 minutes. So I've just had a little bit of breakfast, let that absorb into the body, and off we go. No rest for the wicked. So, interesting, super duper week. I was working with he's not a client, he's a friend. He's one of my swim buddies when we're back swimming in the pools. And we were talking about urges and cravings in and around food. But you can have urges and around saying no to certain behaviours, because once we're in a habit of doing something and we then stop doing that something, sometimes we can start to feel uncomfortable because our body is used to responding in that time. Our body becomes in a routine. So somebody gets up and does the same thing every day in the same way. When you start to change that, you come out of your routine, it becomes uncomfortable. So lockdown, it's uncomfortable for some people because they're out of the norm, they're out of the routine. They're not doing what they were doing prior to lockdown. So it's become uncomfortable for them. It's created anxiety with some people. It's created low mood with some people. But for others, they've quite enjoyed it. So I've worked with people who are quite enjoying it because it's given a different view of what they could possibly have or what they've missed in their lives. And for others, it's the total opposite, because we're all the same but different. We all respond and react to our model or our experience of the world, however we perceive it and however we live life. So going back to working with my pal, we were just talking about the little urges when we get home at night and we're just having his tea, and then you just start nibbling and picking through the night, and that nibbling and picking through the night builds up and 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 can stop us from reaching our goals if there's a weight loss goal there. So what can you do to prevent that? Any change that you make in your life, you start doing something, there's going to be some emotion connected to that, and it's about riding them emotions out. And what I mean by that is, I worked in the addiction field for a lot of years, and I still do. I work privately, still around substance misuse, alcohol, cocaine use, any prescribing. I refer people on if they need a detox or anything like that. So any kind of change, there comes to a point where you've got to stop doing it. Some aspects of addiction you might need a rehab, you might need some medication to help you break that chain. Other aspects of addiction, you can ride it out yourself. You can learn to surf the waves, if you like, and not respond to them urges and them cravings. So an urge, let's just say, lasts a little bit longer than a craving. So a craving can be that long, and an urge can be that long. But a craving will come into an urge. And the more we learn to not act to the mind, which is producing the thoughts, because you're getting what's called the thought feeling loop. So your thoughts produce feelings, your feelings produce thoughts, and we get in this thought feeling loop, which can be a little bit of a minefield in itself. So when I was talking to my friend on Friday, we spoke about what would happen if we just rode the urge out, because it's more of an urge than a craving than it is for him. So what do? So this weekend, he's just been sitting with the urge and riding it out. And I got a message off him this morning saying, it's like, these are my words, this is my interpretation of it. It's like a competition, being able to control that aspect of myself, not allowing the brain, the mind to run the show. Because if we allow the mind to run the show, our thoughts, what we get at times, if we act upon them, we'd probably end up in jail. So he's riding the urge out by just sitting with it, being aware of it, being present with it, feeling it. And it'll be uncomfortable to start with. But the more you sit with it, it just fizzles out and loses its power. So when I'm sitting with my emotions and feelings and it feels uncomfortable, I just become aware of where that uncomfortableness is. It might be here, I might feel a bit anxious, it might be in my belly. Because when you talk about emotions and feelings, you feel them here, you feel them here, some people feel them there, some people feel them there. It's just being aware and being mindful. And be curious about the emotions and feelings. Not get entangled with them. Because once we start getting entanglement with them, we start getting into that shall I shan't mode with myself. We're in this thought feeling loop. But just sitting with your emotions and your feelings, it becomes less uncomfortable, because what you're actually doing there is you're rewiring your brain to a different action. And with persistence of just sitting with that and settling the body mind down, you get a different behaviour. Because your behaviour is wired and fired to getting up and going into the cupboard and reaching out and getting them snacks. With persistence, you will stop getting them urges and you'll stop getting them feelings. Any kind of change, and the secret to it is, the word change is doing something different and being able to ride the emotions and feelings out. Yes, emotions and feelings are different at different levels depending what you're responding to, because it's a response. But if you give it nothing to respond to or learn to sit with it, then you're creating some disassociation to your mind, which is only an old pattern of behaviour running where we've picked up because we've been programmed, because we're all programmable. But if you become aware of the programmable part of ourselves, let's reprogram self. It's just one way forward. Sitting with emotions and feelings. This isn't new, it's a very old concept. Buddhists have been doing it for hundreds of years. Just sit with the emotion and see what happens. It's uncomfortable to start with, but it will subside. So, from Friday night, Saturday night, has become bigger than yourself, has become greater than the environment, has become greater in time. And what I mean by becoming greater than time, his body is used to doing certain things at a certain time. His body clock has become greater than that. He's not allowed the environment of what might be in the pantry, in the cupboards, to pull him in. And he's become greater than himself. He's been more mindful of his feelings and his connections to what's drawing him there. And it's just been a routine, it's just been his pattern, it's been his programming, it's been his conditioning. That's how you change it. Shed Talk. Have a fabulous Sunday. Where's my little clicker? Because we're getting all technical.